So something that I've noticed is that with all the work from home and after the pandemic, a lot of women lost their confidence, even if they're a stay-at-home mom, at being able to take care of the kids on their own. And I certainly am the first to say that we should have a large extended network of people who could help us with our kids. But there are times when if you're choosing to be the stay-at-home parent, you have to be with your kids. You have to be with them on your own. You have to drive them places. You have to take them places. You have to be able to be alone with them without being overwhelmed. I have a post on when you're scared of your kids. And frequently when women are dealing with unresolved childhood trauma or a lot of anxiety or depression, they're like terrified. They're terrified that if their kids misbehave, they won't know what to do, that they'll lose their temper, that they'll be completely out of control, that they won't be able to control the kids. That they won't be able to stimulate the kids, that they don't know how to engage with them enough, that somehow the kids are going to have a negative emotion or going to be bored or something, and that there needs to be like two people at least around all the time to deal with any possible contingency that could happen so that a child doesn't have like a negative feeling or that they're understimulated for a second. What this is anxiety, and you got to see it for what it is. So if you are somebody that has committed to the stay-at-home mom role, or beyond that, either parent should be able to be with multiple children alone for hours. That's something you have to do as a parent. And if that is always terrible and always makes you feel anxious and twists your stomach and feel like you can't do it, then that's something to explore in therapy. Okay, certainly like being alone for days with just your kids and just you is not good, and nobody likes that, right? Especially if you don't have family help. But if you are scared to be alone with your children for any period of time, if you're scared that the baby will cry and you won't be able to stand it, if you're scared that you won't be able to control your toddler, if there's like a fear or an anxiety massively impacting your ability to parent, and so then you become in this role where like both people are needed constantly. Nobody then can live like a real life. Nobody can have a hobby. Nobody can have a job. It becomes this sort of very, very insular situation where both parents need to be constantly around all the time. Otherwise, one feels very, very lost. And that's called codependency. So if any of what I'm saying resonates with you, therapy can really help. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I have a link to my post on it when you're scared of your kids. But I have noticed this more and more since COVID and since the telecommuting. Telework is great. I'm the first to say telework is awesome. I telework, But if that makes your spouse completely dependent on you and you're always having to make your schedule so that they're never really alone with the kids that much, that is an issue. And that is enabling a person with anxiety. So if the only therapy you can get them into is couples, then do that. But either way, it needs to be addressed and seen for what it is.